For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a review on a kind of awning from CampTech. So with me here I've got the CampTech Atlantis DL. So you may have seen we've done a previous video on this from about a couple of years back. So I thought I'd do a bit of an update model just because a few tweaks that CampTech have made and improvements they've made to the awning itself. So for those of you who've not heard of CampTech, it's kind of a brand that's been around for a number of years now, to be fair, and they're actually, to be fair, very competitive on price. The reason because they almost don't have a middleman involved for distribution, so you're almost buying directly from the manufacturer. What this means is that it tends to be one of the cheapest and best value for money on the marketplace. So what you pay if you get is very good and does offer a lot. With the Atlantis, it sits at almost the top nearly of their poled range and is designed as a seasonal awning. If you want something a bit less seasonal, they do either Savannah, which is still technically seasonal, or the Cayman, which is more of a price-pointed touring awning. But the Atlantis is designed to be left up for longer periods of time or on a seasonal pitch if you really wish. Comes as standard with a 25mm steel frame. Really nice SR21 fabric, so it's a nice thick material, so it's designed again to last and sort of have that excessive amount of UV. Generally, thing that sort of sits, the reason it sits at the range and it's a standard depth of 240, it's almost worth actually mentioning that if you wanted like the awning in every single way and you want something a little bit deeper, have a look at our video review on the Buckingham. Same awning in every way, but it's 3 meters deep rather than just the normal 240. The thing I do like about the Atlantis DL is the fact that you do have external blinds to cover your windows when you're not necessarily on the site. So it works really well that you can just quite happily unravel them. They have got little ties when they're fully up. Drop them down. So you can either sort of drop them down, pop the zip in the case. That means that you would actually get them kind of leave them halfway down or fully if you wanted the ultimate amount of privacy, of course. Drop them down fully and protects the windows from that sort of sunlight getting damaged, fade, or end up going murky. So that's really quite a nice little feature. On the front panels, you've got what they call their T-door. So basically you've got zips going vertically up and across. So the reason, because what you can do is actually then means the flexibility in the panels, you can open from right to left, or left to right, or in to out, if that makes sense, from the outside directly in, or of course remove the panel altogether to have almost like a gazebo kind of base. As standard, you've got a little bit of traditional size with a little extendable pole as well. So you've got a roof pole that comes out with a sort of, what do you call it? Bayonet, like a screw basically tightener. And then you've got an additional pole running on the roof here as well. To give a bit more stability and get that canopy looking tight and not have that sort of sackage which you can see from other brands. Generally it works really nicely with the vent point at the top to allow a little bit of airflow in, and also what you find on the side panels itself, you've got this really quite nice half and half window panel. So what this basically allows you to do is you've got a PVC window, you can roll that up if you want to, toggle it, and you've got mesh behind it so you have airflow in from the side panel itself. The side panel has changed in the most recent years, so rather than the door being like a this window panel being centralized and have a little door and a little door, which wasn't as feasible, what they've done is they shifted the panel forward, created a really nice opening on the side here, and the panel's then interchangeable. Now what that essentially means is the side panel will jump from being at the back of next to the caravan to the very front, make it access a bit easier, so you almost create a little bit of dead space. Still we've got little brow, little blinds even for the side windows, and you've got a nice little bit of trim there just to make it a little bit more character based. Storm straps can be purchased additionally to give a bit more bounce and braces. You've got 2 either side, which I probably would recommend, and they've also do an additional one that you can put around the central pole and bring directly down. But of course you can have a look at all the optional extras that are available for the awning itself. Other things to mention is the fact you've got PVC mud skirts running on the base to again make it easy to clean and a bit more durable. Additional ties located as well if you want to add extra guy ropes just to give yourself a bit more bounce and braces, sort of storm straps. And also what you find as well is that the head height's been increased slightly, so when you walk through the front panel, maybe about 6'2", I can do that quite happily. Pegging ladders throughout the whole of the base as well, which means doesn't matter what kind of ground you're pitched on, you can always get additional tension on the fabric itself. And in the frame system, like I said, it's a 25mm frame, got some really nice clamps and adjusters, so you can get, it's got dual clamping actually, so you can actually get the tension point and then actually reinforce that clamp in place. There are a range of annexes you can look at as well, so you can remove the side panel and add an annex on both ends of the awning. Alternatively, of course, you're more than welcome to actually buy an inner bedroom just to go in the main body of the awning, so lots of flexibility there as well. Tell you what, let's have a little look and talk for a load more features that the Atlantis D has on the inside. So now inside the awning, you can probably appreciate a little bit more for the internal space you've got in it. So like I said, we've got that sort of natural 240 depth, but because you've got that kind of traditional kind of look, you do feel quite spacious in here. And obviously because it's a full awning, you get that full length across the caravan, so you can maximize everything that your caravan has to offer in terms of the width. The panels, like we said, actually can be removed and we can interchange if need be. And as I've said on the outside, you've also got annexes you can add if you want additional sort of storage space or buy inner bedrooms to go in that. And I'll show you an example of an annex later on in the video. Curtains come as standard with all of the windows, so you've got, you can have your privacy as and when you want to, or have your lovely visibility like we can see here. Little points located here will actually allow the curtain to be sort of put back in, create that kind of traditional homey kind of caravan look as well. And there's also a little strap along each of the windows located here, which when you've got it down, keeps the curtain nice and tight to the side of the panel, so then you haven't got any gaps coming directly through. Now, depending on what size you go for, what you tend to see is the different panel gaps. So naturally, the larger the panel, the extra windows you kind of do have, and the bigger small frame does get supplied. So as standard, you always kind of get your main three, so your central and your 2 poles away from the caravan. And additional sort of roof raisers are included as standard depending on how width. So the longer the caravan, the more roof raisers you need to keep that all nice and taut. As I mentioned on the outside, you've got a really nice 2-part clip system, so you can obviously allows you to extend with ease. So you can put it up initially, hold it in place, and then that basically then reinforces the clamp and stops that from coming away at all. All of the points also have additional extra bit of fabric to stop any rubbing or damaging to the actual canvas itself. So again, it's a really nice sort of reinforced feature. And then there's additional grippers supplied, so you can press against the caravan and get an extra torsion in the roof without damaging the caravan as well. Mud skirt, like I said, from the outside comes in quite nice and neatly. Other things to bear in mind is the fact that you can add things like there used to be a veranda pole you could actually buy additionally, which I believe you still can necessarily get, but I'll double check on that on the optional extras list. But there's a range of carpets and floorings you can also look at to again make your home away from home. 25mm frame is really quite nice. Button clips and there's frame diagrams, and they all tend to be numbered to try and make it a bit easier for when it comes to pitching. But naturally for me, when you pitch the awning, certainly from a seasonal point of view, you put it up and that's it, you're done. You haven't got to worry about too much of anything else. On the side parts, what you find is you've got extra mud skirts, again in PVC, so you can take that gap depending on how your caravan's designed, whether it's an old or new version. And other things that come as standard with the awnings, you get a draft skirt supplied as standard, a wheel arch cover with the suckers as well to put it on there, and then some pegs, which again all included. Now the awning tends to come in 2 bags. You get one for the framework and an additional one for the canvas. So that will be kind of your canvas bag, nice and neat, 2 handles, very easy to kind of deal with. And one thing, because all the panels remove the sides and the front, it makes it a lot lighter when you come to feed it through the awning rail, and just naturally you can always store it separately, so you can almost buy an additional bag if you wanted to have the main bulk of it, the frame, and then the panels all folded in with like the draft skirts, make it a bit more manageable and store it around the actual caravan itself. Let's pick the camera up and have a little bit of a look around it as well and get a bit of a closer look on those material clamps. So that's kind of the clamps you can see there. So you've got, I said, the main part which stops it from going anywhere, and then the actual part that holds it in position. So that just like neatly nips in there. And then you've got the part that goes onto the rail. So you can see that presses against it, and it's got a nice foam part to it as such. And again, you can see there's tension through the actual awning, as well as that roof pole that stretches all the way around with your wing nuts to keep it all nice and firm and stop it sliding around at all. Curtains again help to give that sort of more homely feel, and they actually kind of pop on, pop off quite easy. So the joys of that is they don't take a lot of effort to put on or take away. And what we can also see here as we look around, I'll show you the optional annex. As an optional annex you can add to either side. That's to give you a region of something like this sort of space here. So then again, there's a bedroom you can buy additionally to go in there. Comes with a bracket pole that will allow you to feed onto the caravan rail, and it kind of goes off there like a traditional annex. It's kind of like a tall annex, so you can probably just about stand up in it. This is the one in particular where it's got the external blinds if you want that level of privacy, and also you've got the rear door as well. But we'll have a look at that from the outside to give you a bit more of a context of it. But all in all, it looks really smart. It's something, like I said, it's been probably one of CampTech's best-selling models for many years now, and it's easy to see why. From the annex point of view, that's what you're looking at. That's obviously the tall annex. Looks really quite smart. Blends in really nicely with the fabric. And you've still got those additional clasps on there for the storm straps. But it matches in, same kind of panels, suits, and you can utilise that for whatever you want. And as previously stated, you can have one on either side if you wanted to. Naturally, what you've got is, because there's two zip pullers on the model, you do have the ability to create that kind of veranda kind of effect with the awning. Difference being is that you can just do it with the zip levels. So you can drop that down, get some airflow directly in, just to make life a bit easier. But having this kind of spiral chain zip means that on the curvature you have less kind of resistance on the corners, so generally the action tends to be a bit smoother in my own opinion. But yeah, that in a nutshell kind of is the Atlantis. If you have any more questions, queries on sort of the pricing, features, the specifications, you can always check the link below this video. It will take you straight through to our website. We have all the information listed there, as well as obviously the up-to-date prices as well. But any more questions or queries, and by all means let us know what you think of kind of this model. And there's also different ones in the range to have a look at. But in essence, that is our little Attwoolls video review on the CampTech Atlantis DL.